Jonathan Davenport won what I would argue is the race of the year at Fairbury with the Luke Soil Late Model Dirt Series. There was absolutely phenomenal racing throughout the night. 3 wide for the lead, 3 wide for second, 3 wide for third and fourth. You had people coming from the back, like Ricky Thornton Jr. I think he was back in like 16th. He got up to 6th and ended up spinning out. So had to settle for a 20th place finish. There just wasn't enough laps left. And then just a fantastic finish with Brandon Sheppard finding something on the top end and really trying to give Jonathan Davenport a run for his money, who had dominated much of the race, even had something like a 4-second plus lead, was really able to maneuver through traffic once he kind of got away from the field. And he ended up holding off Sheppard and winning the race. But it was something that was really interesting happened during his post-race interview, where he shared that it sounds like he's using a different brand of shocks now instead of Bilstein. You can see it right there that he's got the Bilstein sponsor on his outfit. But when he was thanking his sponsors, he mentioned Penske shocks, and he didn't just do it once, he did it twice. Let's take a listen to this right here.
Now, so hopefully we got 7 more with us, but got to thank Dynagrow, Seed, ASC Warranty, Penske shocks, Longhorn chassis, Longhorn Dynamics with the Penske shocks, Burt transmissions.
So there you go. You hear him say it twice. He says he thanks Penske shocks, and then he thanks Longhorn Dynamics with the Penske shocks. So I guess that kind of begs the question, did he misspeak? Has he actually switched over to Penske from Bilstein? And is that something that the Longhorn Dynamics is actually working with, is more so with Penske shocks rather than Bilstein? What's interesting is we do see this post here from the Bilstein shock absorbers over on Facebook. They said that's a sweep, 5 for 5. Bilstein customers swept Illinois Speed Weeks, capped off by Jonathan Davenport taking the $30,000 victory at Fairbury Speedway. Our dedicated Bilstein support team was on the ground all week long, making sure our racers had the service and performance they needed to stay ahead. We're proud to support the best in the business and even prouder to see them in victory lane. Congrats to all of our teams. We're just getting started. So obviously Bilstein is taking credit for the win. Jonathan Davenport is thanking Penske in the post race, despite having Bilstein on his outfit. And I think it's still on the back of his spoiler there as well. So definitely some questions on what brand of shock he is using, and if he did indeed switch to Penske. He did talk earlier in that interview about how he had kind of spoke with Nick Hoffman, and they had been talking about some changes that they would have been made. Maybe that was a suggestion that Hoffman made. I'd have to go back and look and see what kind of shocks Hoffman is using. But that maybe was something they did last minute. Unclear. But it does sound like he is using Penske shocks, at least according to his own interview. Again, he could have been misspeaking, but then he also talked about how it was with Longhorn Dynamics, and maybe that was something that they've come up with, that they've helped him with, and obviously maybe helping other teams with. So interesting things happening there. I wonder if we'll get some clarification on which brand of shock he is using, if he has switched to Penske over from Bilstein. I feel like not many people were using Penske shocks with the Longhorn chassis. I think Ethan Dotson was the one who had been using them for much of the season, and obviously was finding some pretty good success with that combination over with the World of Outlaws for the most part. So after Davenport's win, here's the actual rundown right here. You can see it over on dirtondirt.com. Davenport first, Sheppard in second. Bobby Pierce came in third. Tyler Bruning had a strong run in fourth. Shannon Babb, the Muikwa Missile in fifth. Dennis Erb Jr., really strong, looking really good for him in sixth. Hudson O'Neal seventh. Garrett Alberson eighth. Ninth, Carson Ferguson. 10th, Dalton Wilson. Mike Marlar in 11th. Brandon Overton in 12th. Fager 13th. Unzicker 14th. Nick Hoffman 15th. Clay Harris 16th. Donald McIntosh 17th. Brian Shirley 18th. Dan Ebert 19th. Ricky Thornton Jr. 20th. Mike Spatola Opie in 21st. Devin Moran in 22nd. He was caught up in that wreck with Ricky Thornton Jr. I'm not really exactly sure what happened. Looked like Ricky Thornton Jr. made some contact with Garrett Alberson. They were running for like that 6th, 5th position. And Ricky, I think, got the wrong end of it, ended up spinning out. Moran was running kind of that high line where Ricky spun out, had nowhere to go, and ran into him. And so we had to go to the rear there, too. And then Hilsebeck in 23rd, Spencer Hughes 24th, Frank Heckenes Jr. 25th, Tyler Erb in 26th, ended his race early. So that obviously shakes up the point standings here over with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. Ricky Thornton Jr. still has the lead, 120-point advantage over Devin Moran, extending that lead. But you can see he only has a 130-point lead now over Jonathan Davenport. Davenport really closing that gap with the win, and Ricky having that late race wreck and just not enough time really to recover. Garrett Alberson still holding on to that 4th place spot, which he took over from Brandon Overton after that North Atlantic trip to Georgetown, Hagerstown, and Port Royal. Still holding on to that, but you can see the gap there between him and Overton is very, very tight. We're looking at 45-point difference there between him and Brandon Overton. Hudson O'Neal, another 15 points behind, to 60 points behind Alberson, and Shepard is right there as well to just 90, 95 points behind, around there, something like that. And then Dalton Wilson is still in the mix there too in 8th, 570 behind. And then obviously the top 10, Turbo, 805 behind Ricky Thornton, and Carson Ferguson there in 10th, 815 points behind. But this 4th place race, I definitely feel like it is a 5-car hunt here between Garrett Alberson, Brandon Overton, Hudson O'Neal, Brandon Shepard, and Dalton Wilson there. And I mean, you can see where they finished here. I mean, they're all really close to each other. Hudson in 7th, Alberson in 8th, Dalton Wilson in 10th, Overton in 12th there. And then Shepard up in 2nd, and Shepard had 2 nights in a row in 2nd. So he's really coming on strong with that rocket, which is what we kind of expected right after he got that win with the World of Outlaws a couple of weeks ago. And he has maintained that consistency for the most part. So this race for that 4th position is really, really heating up here. But let me know what you guys make of what Jonathan Davenport had to say about potentially using Penske shocks. Do you think he was misspeaking? Do you think he's still using Bilstein? What do you think is going on there? Let me know in the comments below.